Hey guys, I hope this video finds you doing well, and I hope that right now, I know things are getting hard and things are getting tough right now, and we're just in a time where we're all in this together, and I want you guys to be encouraged that there is hope. I don't really care what the news says, there is hope, and sooner or later there will be an end to this thing, and we're all praying that God would bring an end soon. And that we would not see the numbers that are being projected and all that kind of stuff, but that God would bring an end to this thing soon. And we need to trust in God. Something is going to happen. And something is going to happen soon where God's going to bring about some kind of good. I don't know what that is. Could be some miracle that God just takes this thing away. Or it could be the biggest revival we've ever seen, where people's hearts are softened by this tragedy that's going on right now. And so we will see what comes about it. There's going to be some kind of good, but here's what I know. Things aren't going to be the same. And so this is a wake-up call to us as believers to be able to go out there and do things for the Lord. But while we're still stuck at home and social distancing, we need to be working on ourselves. We need to make sure that we are working on ourselves. And what can we do to make sure that we are growing and we are mature and we are ready for when this thing is over to just go out there and do the work for Christ? And so today, what I want to do is talk about basics of growing your faith. Basics of growing your faith. And we're going to be in 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 3 through 9. Just real quick, just kind of running through this. We're not going to go through an exhaustive study, but I want to kind of take my time kind of walking through this for about 10 minutes or so and just kind of go through, like, how do we do these things? How do we grow our faith? And so found in verse 3, we see the power that we've been given. Look at verse 3. It says this: His divine power has given us everything required for life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness. We as believers have been given His power. All right? He has unlimited power, and He has proven that in the cross. All right? The gospel shows us His power, that He lived the perfect life that we couldn't live, died the death that we deserved to die, and rose again on the third day to conquer the one thing that we all fear, which is death itself. And so in that, He has the power and all authority of the entire universe. And so He has given us this power to be able to live a godly life. It is all that we need for life itself, to be able to live the life that He talked about, a life abundant. All right? An abundant life doesn't mean a life that is rich. It means a life that is rich in the joy that only God can bring us. It doesn't mean that we are wealthy in money. It means that we are wealthy in peace. We are wealthy in hope. We are wealthy in joy. And so even for the poorest people in the entire town, we can still have those things and know that God has our back. Why? Because He has promised that to us. And so when He means that we are given life to the abundance, it doesn't necessarily mean wealth. But it does mean that it's a life full of joy and peace and happiness. Not that everything goes right, because we all see that we live in a broken world. Obviously, we're going through this virus right now. And so I want you guys to understand that He gives us the ability to make it through life. He is walking with us 100% of the time. He's walking right beside us. And at some points, He's probably even carrying us. And so I want you guys to understand that. He also gives us the power to live out a godly life. A godly life. In other words, His power allows us to overcome sin. We are no longer slaves to sin, but we are free to be able to live a life for Him, a life that we are designed to live in relationship with Him. Then we can now live that way and live the life that we were purposed to live. And so as we go about that, then in verses 5 5 through 9, it tells us that we are supposed to supplement our faith with stuff. Right now at home, I have all kinds of bottles of different supplements that I take. I naturally have high blood pressure. And so I've been able to slowly wean myself off of medication. I take about 4 or 5 different supplements for my high blood pressure, and they've really been working. And one of the supplements that really does well, and it's a combination of 2 supplements, combination of niacin and L-arginine, very good supplement that I've had. And I take the flushing kind of niacin. And so you got to take, with supplements, there's always a little bit of a side effect to it, but way less side effect than medication. And one of the side effects of taking niacin is what's called the niacin flush. All right, and nowadays I'm very careful when I take it, because what happens is after about 20 minutes of taking it, you start to get red up in your ears, and it starts in your face, and it just works its way down your body, and you actually look like you're having almost like a fever or a sunburn, but it works wonders on the blood pressure. And so, because it expands the blood vessels and all those kind of things, and it works wonders on the blood pressure. And so I supplement all kinds of things to help, on top of going out and jogging and all this kind of stuff, to keep my blood pressure down. And so those supplements help me out. And so in the same way, we need to supplement our faith with things that are going to grow our faith. And these are the things that we need to be doing. All right, it says that we need to supplement our faith with goodness. That means moral excellence. This is one of the qualities that Jesus exemplified while he was here on earth. And then to goodness, we need to also supplement that with knowledge. That means deepening our understanding of God. How do you do that? You dig into God's word on a daily basis. Only by studying God's word can we actually grow. That means not just a little 5-minute devotional. I love the YouVersion app on my phone, and sometimes it's great to do that and to have a quick little devotional, but that's not good enough. We need to be digging deep into God's word, not necessarily relying on someone else, but also deepening. So even as you're watching this video, I want you guys to dig in and to research it on your own, to even test me to see if I'm correct on this. All right? So we need to deepen our understanding of God. We do that through digging into God's word, spending time in God's word, and through prayer. We also need to add to our goodness and to our knowledge, we need to add self-control. This means controlling our emotions and our actions. As we deepen our understanding with God, about God, we start to understand that He has given us the power to be able to be able to control our emotions, and our actions, so things don't make us as angry as they used to. We're not as impatient as we used to be. And so we need to make sure that we are controlling ourselves and what is going on. And to self-control, we add endurance. That means power to persevere. So as we're able to control ourselves at first, that may only be for a short time, and we still may have that short fuse or whatnot. But as we grow in endurance and we add endurance, that means that we're able to last longer. You know, one of the things I'm finding out right now is I'm a little bit more out of shape than what I thought. I hate running. And right now, jogging is one of the only things I can do. And so, because all the gyms are closed. And so, what's happening is I'm going out and running. And I'm finding out, okay, I can't run as far as I want to. So every time I go out, I run just a little bit longer. You know, 150, 200 feet longer. 150, 200 feet longer. And every time I go out, I do that. Sooner or later, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep going. And all of a sudden, man, you're running miles at that point. You slowly build up your endurance. And in the same way, we're able to persevere in our own faith. We're able to have endurance in our own faith. We're able to stand against sin a lot longer. All right? And to endurance, we add godliness. So as we're able to endure longer, we also add godliness, which means living out of reverence. So no longer do I do things out of obligation, but I do things out of love and out of appreciation for what God has done for me and out of respect of what he has done for me. All right? Dying on the cross was such an amazing thing. If you research what that actually means and the punishment that actually means, man, God took so much for me, and I should be living a life that is worthy of what he did. And to add to godliness, add brotherly affection. That means warm-hearted affection to one another. All right, this is within the body of believers. And as we do that, then we add love. Love is this a selfless attitude that leads to sacrificially giving of ourselves. That love isn't just for within the church, but it's for everybody. It is for everybody to see and on display for all to see. Because as we do that, then the world is going to look at us and be like, wow, I want that. I want that. Possession of these in increasing measure will keep you useful in your faith. That's what verse 8 tells us. That if you continue to use these, you will be useful. You will be more mature and more complete in your faith. And as you continue to do this, man, you're going to be an incredible person, an incredible believer out there to do things for God that you never thought was possible. But verse 9 tells us the reason why a lot of times that we don't do this. Sin blinds us from seeing our need for these things. All right? As we continue to want to grow in these things, it's going to reveal sin in our lives. And we have to be very, very careful as to what's going on in our lives. We need to make sure that as we're growing in God's word, that it is revealing sin in our hearts. That is revealing heart idols that we need to remove and put God back on the throne of our lives. There's always within us. A lot of times we give God 90% of us, and we're keeping that last 10%. And what we need to do as we grow in these areas, we need to make sure that what we're doing is we're giving God we're giving God not only the 90%, but also that last 10%. Because as we do that, God is going to expose things within us that we can give up and we can give to him. And as we grow in him, we're going to be free from so much stuff. We're going to be so much better. We're going to have the joy and peace and the love that I talked about earlier. That is how we live a life that is abundant. And as we give and surrender ourselves to him, we realize that we actually get life back. Because as we get life back, we are enjoying a relationship with him that we were solely intended to have. And as we do that, I promise you, man, your life is going to get so much better. Your life is going to get so much better. You can walk through any circumstance that is hard, and you can walk with a joy and a peace. Doesn't mean that you walk around with a smile on your face, but you walk around knowing that you are not alone and that you don't have to fake joy, that the joy is going to be inside you, and that God is walking with you and carrying you through any and all of life's circumstances. And so I hope that you will take this challenge of growing in these ways and make this your heart's cry in these next few weeks to come. Because you know what? We need to be ready for when we come out on the other side of this virus, that we are ready and more mature to go out and do work for Christ, because we're going to have a world that is hurting and that is ready for the hope of the gospel. We need to make sure we are ready for that. And so I ask you and I challenge you to grow in these areas. I hope this has been encouraging to you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell. That way when we post a video, you get notified of it right away. And also, make sure you share this with others. There's so many people out there that are down in depression and have anxiety. And you know what? Only the hope of God's word, not my word, but God's word, can help to encourage us and get us through these situations. I pray that you will do that. And I hope that you will have a good rest of your day. Thank you, guys.